The Bank for Central Banks, How the BIS Quietly Rewired Global Money. 1. The Hidden Empire of Basel. At the heart of Switzerland stands a building that shapes the fate of every currency on Earth, the Bank for International Settlements, or BIS. Founded in 1930, it was originally meant to manage German reparations after World War I. Today, it functions as the central bank for central banks, quietly steering the global monetary system behind layers of immunity and secrecy. So what does that actually mean? It means when nations argue about interest rates or inflation, the real decisions often trace back to Basel. The BIS sets the tone, drafts the playbook, and everyone else follows, whether they realize it or not. Footnote. This section introduces the BIS as a supranational financial authority that influences nearly all central banks worldwide. 2. The Legal Fortress. The BIS isn't just powerful, it's untouchable. Created by international treaty, it enjoys total legal immunity. Swiss police can't enter its headquarters without permission. Its archives are sealed. Its assets cannot be seized by any court or government. In short, it's a nation within a nation, operating above the law. So what does that actually mean? It means the very institution controlling the flow of global money answers to no electorate, no parliament, and no constitution. It lives in the financial equivalent of diplomatic invisibility. Footnote. This section explains how the BIS's 1930 treaty grants it full extraterritorial privileges and shields it from legal oversight. 3. The Meeting of 60. Every 2 months, about 60 of the world's top central bankers, names like Bernanke, Draghi, and Carstens, gather in Basel. No press. No minutes. No transcript. They discuss the fate of global liquidity and policy coordination while the public gets silence. So what does that actually mean? Imagine a board meeting for the planet's money supply, with no shareholders, no auditors, and no minutes. That's the BIS. Footnote. This section highlights the confidentiality of BIS policy meetings and the absence of public accountability. 4. The Half Bank, Half Government Creature. The BIS is both a financial institution and an intergovernmental body. It manages 10 to 15% of all central bank reserves, literally the savings accounts of nations, while also acting as a policy hub through its Basel committees. Its clients aren't governments but central banks themselves, which gives it enormous indirect control over every national economy. So what does that actually mean? The BIS doesn't print your local currency, it shapes the rules your central bank must obey when it does. Footnote. This section describes the BIS's hybrid legal and financial structure as both a regulator and a bank to central banks. 5. The New Blueprint, a Unified Ledger. The BIS's latest project, Improving the Old, Enabling the New, outlines a global shift toward tokenized money. Their vision? One unified, programmable ledger where every national currency and digital token can coexist under a single system. So what does that actually mean? In theory, efficiency. In practice, surveillance. Every transaction would live on one platform, traceable, enforceable, and programmable by the same entity that operates beyond national law. Footnote. This section analyzes the BIS's 2023 Unified Ledger proposal and its implications for programmable central bank digital currencies, CBDCs. 6. The Paradox of Trust. BIS General Manager Augustin Carstens once said, "Technology does not make for trusted money." His meaning? Only central banks can create legitimate currency. The irony is thick. Cryptocurrencies are dismissed for lacking institutional trust, while the BIS itself hides behind diplomatic immunity. So what does that actually mean? It means the BIS claims moral authority through control, not transparency. Trust, in this model, is not earned, it's mandated. Footnote. This section examines the contradiction between BIS rhetoric about trusted money and its own lack of transparency. 7. The CBDC Endgame. The BIS has made no secret of its ultimate ambition, one global CBDC system managed through its unified ledger. Carstens openly stated that central banks will have absolute control over how digital currency is used, and the technology to enforce it. So what does that actually mean? It means programmable money. Every dollar, yen, or euro could one day carry code, allowing authorities to decide when, where, and how you can spend it. Privacy would become a memory. Footnote. This section connects BIS digital currency initiatives with potential implications for financial surveillance and personal autonomy. 8. The irony of singleness. The BIS calls its goal the singleness of money. In plainer terms, it seeks to unify all currencies under one interoperable digital standard. The irony? Gold already achieved singleness centuries ago, universal value without control. The difference is that gold can't be programmed, paused, or erased. So what does that actually mean? It means the BIS isn't trying to perfect money, it's trying to perfect control. Footnote. This section interprets the singleness of money as a euphemism for centralized monetary dominance, contrasting it with the independence of commodity money. 9. The 5-year countdown. As of mid-2025, the BIS reported that its 5-year digitalization plan was 80% complete. The roadmap emphasizes technological improvements and changes in governance. Translation: more data integration, more coordination, less national independence. So what does that actually mean? The train is nearly at the station, and no one elected the conductor. Footnote. This section summarizes BIS's progress toward implementing global financial digitalization under its unified ledger framework. 10. Knowledge as resistance. What can individuals do? Not much, except understand the system that surrounds them. Knowledge doesn't stop central banks, but it builds insulation. Assets outside the system, gold, silver, decentralized assets, are the modern forms of quiet resistance. So what does that actually mean? Awareness is armor. The less they can track, the freer you remain. Footnote. This section concludes that awareness and decentralized ownership remain the most practical defenses against centralized digital control.